Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Tiny.
Radiant team pick.
Shadow Fiend.
Dire team pick.
Welcome back, everybody. Woo. Is it just me, or am I really loud?
No, it sounds...
All right. Very well. I think I accidentally turned my in-ears way too loud.
Oopsie.
Anyway, welcome back to the defense. We're here with our second series of the day. Monkey Business are going to be playing yet another series. This time around, it's going to be against Scary Faces. And I actually...
5 seconds remaining.
I can't afford not to just like talk about this opening. Actually, Durka. Normally, I'd give us a lot more in camera time, show off the studio, but
straight in
whoa, what is it? What is happening here?
I
First
mean-
pick Wiz. Scary Faces are like, you're not getting Wiz Tiny. Screw you, Tiny SF. What you think about that?
You couldn't see that, but he was actually, sticking his middle fingers up and doing the whole, yeah, screw you. I honestly don't know. Scary Faces, I watched them last week during the defense. For the life of me, I can't remember who they were playing against. It was one of the CIS teams, Empire or VP or someone like that. May have been Empire, actually. And they got themselves into the situation as well, almost exact same situation, where they let the opponent have Wisp, and then they banned Tiny, and then they picked Chaos Knight on his own, just to stop the Wisp Chaos Knight combo. Like, they really didn't want to be against a Wisp +1, so they banned and picked and completely limited the options. Now, Tiny mid, it's decent still, but this is going to be Tiny safe lane with Shadow Fiend mid.
Team ban.
What if they've learned the ways of sexy bamboo and are gonna go off lane Tiny?
Or roaming Tiny.
Or roaming Tiny. I mean, this is just kind of weird, right? If you take the Tiny, I can understand it, but why aren't you running it mid?
I'm not sure. Oh, fuck.
That doesn't make much sense to me. Durka's spilling water all over the
5
studio.
seconds remaining.
All right, he's gonna go deal with the water.
Reserve time.
I'll mute your microphone. have fun, Durka. I've got this. I kind of want to see how much water you spent. Oh, it's not even that much. He's running off to go get towels. Anyway, we've got what is it? Lich Dazzle gonna be banned away by Monkey Business. Beastmaster taken away by Scary Faces.
Radiant team pick.
And Tuss is going to be the last banned by SFZ. I can see, like, they really don't want to have to deal with any strong initiators where the Wiz Chaos Knight is going to be able to TP in and follow that up. SFZ, though... I'm just so weirded out by this carry Tiny. What goes best with the carry Tiny if you don't have a Wisp behind it? I can understand the idea, though, behind not giving away the Wisp Tiny to Monkey Business, because they're exceptionally strong with it, and No Tail, as well as Crit, have proven to be an amazing duo with that hero. But again, I don't know, I guess they just maybe really like the SF Radiant side. They're going to go now for a Witch Doctor. I would say one of the okay heroes against Wisp Chaos Knight. Wonder why you don't go Winter Wyvern here. I think the Winter Wyvern actually, it sort of was seen as a really good counter to the Wisp Tiny, but teams can work around it decently well. I feel like the Winter Wyvern is even better against Wisp Chaos Knight, though, than it is against Wisp Tiny, and in a way, Witch Doctor is going to be less good against Chaos Knight because he has all these illusions. For me, I'm looking at this going, if you pop all these illusions and boom, you've got this big Winter's Curse, you're actually grabbing all those illusions and doing extra damage. Or you may even kill the Chaos Knight with his own illusions. Witch Doctor, his cast may be actually mitigated by the fact that there's all these extra units. And then you've also got the Cold Embrace to be able to come in as well. That would be able to Welcome back, Durka. That would be able to stop the targeting of the Chaos Knight because he's such a burst-oriented hero that, you know, he throws out his stun and he jumps on top of you, especially if he's already popped his ultimate. All these illusions supposed to deal all this physical damage in a short period of time, but you have the Cold Embrace to be able to buy that ally time, or maybe yourself.
Yeah, Winter Wyvern has a pretty decent win rates up against tiny combos. You know, we used to see Disruptor as that kind of pick ban against Wisp combinations, but I was talking with Clairvoyance about this the other week and casted with him. And Winter Wyvern is definitely one of the easiest heroes to play against the Wisp combo. You know, you Winter's Curse, Splinter Blast, and Arctic Burn, good slows, and you've got the heal, the Cold Embrace to keep someone up and running. Witch Doctor he's a little more sort of lane oriented, you know? In the lane, you've got the cask to bounce between them, so you limit how much farm they can get early on, and how much harass they can do with the Wisp, because the IO is this really kind of unusual hero that during the laning phase harasses people, but he doesn't deal well with being harassed himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to control runes, he wants to stack, and he wants to get some damage done with just the orbs and the right clicks. But if there's someone who can trade hits, you know, efficiently against him, like the Witch Doctor or even the Vengeful Spirit, and roam onto that Wisp early on, then you can limit the aggression in sort of primary stages of the game, and stop what they're up to. But Spirit Breaker for Monkey Business, Spirit Breaker Undying dual offlane, I'm guessing Curse Knight Wisp towards the mid. So last hero could literally be anything for Miracle. I'm assuming Miracle is going to be the safe lane carry here.
What do you think? Like something like a gyrocopter? Something that's relatively self-sufficient and is able to provide a lot more team fight? Or do you need something that's even more solo focused because we're most likely seeing him in this one-on-one scenario? And we don't know against two either. Like ScaryFaces have picked up their other support, but the core yet to be revealed, so their lanes are kind of up in the air as well. Because they could actually run, you know, some sort of dual lane, like tiny Witch Doctor, dual off, dual safe.
Oh god.
Oh, Slardar.
Triple minus armor.
Yeah,
And
minus armor on minus armor. A lot of physical damage. This is interesting. It's like minus armor and physical damage versus like the sustain lineup. You've got Wisp Chaos Knight, strength on strength, Undying Spirit Breaker, strength on strength. Watch them pick up like an axe or something. You know, something that just gives us more tankiness for the side of Monkey Business.
Or someone who likes to build a plate mail.
5 seconds.
Just buy 5 plate mails up against it. I don't know. I feel that you want to give Miracle, you know, one of those mobility heroes that can just jump himself around, but that can also self-sustain on the lane. You can't pick a Huskar into this, for sure, because of the physical damage, the minus armor that is there. You just don't want to be picking up something like that for him.
Yeah.
But it's difficult. Like Phantom Lancer has kind of dropped off the face of the map a little bit for the majority of teams. So the Templar Assassin.
So we go back for the mid hero, or is this Miracle's going to be playing the Templar Assassin? Is he going to be playing it mid though? And then they run Chaos Knight Wisp top and Undying Spirit Breaker in the bottom lane.
I guess that's the most standard way to do it. I'm definitely looking at Undying Spirit Breaker dual off lane.
Yeah, that feels like pretty much guaranteed. Spirit Breaker may do a bit of roaming, but it's Moon Meander playing the Spirit Breaker, so I feel like he's gonna spend more time in lane than others would.
It's kind of sad seeing sad and happy for ScaryFaces. Ramses was one of my favorite players for them. You know, his picks, his Slark, his Wraith King, his Huskar, things like that. They've definitely had to kind of change up their drafting style a little bit to work around this. But, you know, Axmo coming in, he's performed pretty well for them on top of all of it. Now, Shadowway's actually picked up the Slardar here. And he's their support player with... Oh, wait, hang on. Have they switched roles again?
It looks like it.
Because it looked pretty set in stone the other night when I watched them. State 21 was their offlaner.
But have you seen Ryan's playing with them yet?
He was their one role.
Oh.
For the past week and a half or 2 weeks.
Did they win the game that you were watching?
No.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe. Actually, I don't think I've seen them win recently.
Yeah, I feel like their performance has not been... Like, they used to have this performance that you felt like they could be
People were scared of them.
Yeah, they could be another Vega Squadron or Power Rangers or something like that. But lately, all they've beaten is, let's see, they lost to PR, they beat Mango, they lost to Empire, lost to VP. They actually beat Power Rangers 2-0 not too long ago, though. Beat CIS Rejects as well.
They beat Power Rangers when they still had Ramses.
Oh, okay. So, ever since they had that change up the roster.
Yeah. Well, who else did they lose? Eknot. Eknot's not playing with them now.
So, pretty much, I mean, who's Mango?
That was in MSI Dragon Battle. I think it was a Finnish team.
Mango Manians. Alright, so in other words, you don't really count that win.
No.
Was that like a round 1 win?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, pretty much all losses ever since they changed their roster.
Pretty much.
But looking to be able to upset that.
Now, the Venge's gone for Wraithband Rush.
So it is going to be a carry Vengeful Spirits?
Carry Venge, support Slardar, General mid Shadow Fiend, offlane Tiny. So you called it. They're going to go for the Bambo special.
I mean, I didn't call the core Vengeful Spirit, that's for sure.
That's irrelevant, though. Hey, we've seen Illidan do it recently. Oh, okay, it's the FNG factor, obviously, you know. Power Rangers and their one-roll Venge, but...
I feel like the core Venge does make up for certain discrepancies that you have in your lineup, in that the SF needs farm, the Tiny needs farm. You need something that's going to be aggressive that comes online early, but I still feel like Slardar fills that role just as well. Goes for the Blink Dagger.
I guess you get your level 6 on Venge before you get the Blink on Slardar. Like timing-wise.
Axmo? No, only a 1 second stun. They may still be able to run him down, actually. 2-man stun from Axmo. If they get really good right clicks, yeah, they could probably just run him down here. Another tether, Axmo. Juke your way through the trees, my friend. You're not making this one out by itself. He's going to pop the mango. Looks for the stun. We'll be able to see him. No, Axmo's actually juking this. No Tail's losing it. They have a stun. Axmo can turn around and kill someone almost. Oh, man. I thought that was going to come to a head there, but Axmo playing it safe. Nice jukes. Showcasing why he's been playing with SFZ lately. He's really been doing
the boots first Tiny, bros.
A lot of work.
He's got no regen left, though.
Yeah, that's going to be a big downside.
I'm unsure about staying on this lane.
Think just head back.
I mean,
how do you deal with the Wisp Chaos Knight? That's so much physical damage out of the Chaos Knight once you get Reality Rift. I mean, it's an extra 60 physical damage by itself, and then Chaos Knight just swings. He hits like a truck.
Look at the Dire Ward as well. They see him. Like, he's not going to get level 2.
Yeah. Stun onto Moon Meander here. They're actually committing pretty heavily for this kill. The Witch Doctor cast. Oh, it's going to bounce back to the charge. He's going to commit it, but State actually gets the right click to finish him off. State, he will be going down here to fly, most likely. Or maybe not. The chain stuns are actually holding him in. State, is he going to be able to survive through this decay? He's not. And they don't have enough mana for another round of stuns against Fly. So he's now got his level 2 and will turn against Rhines. He'll complete the charge. Shadow 8 doesn't have anything. Looks like they might be able to get this kill, but never mind. Healing Salve goes off, and he will survive. They get the first blood, a 1-for-1 trade-off, but I feel like the Undying Spirit Breaker are now going to be in a fine position. As soon as the Undying heals and comes back to lane, this lane is only going to get tougher.
It's just a regen trade-off. Like, you look at the actual regen remaining for Scary Faces. There's no salves. There's, what, 1 clarity left? They're running low on everything. Whereas Monkey Business, they're not heavily mana reliant. You know, they can spam out decay if they want to, but they've got salves, tangos, like a TB back, fly down to bottom lane. They're perfectly fine with all of this. How's the mid lane going for Miracle though? 8 and 5, Shadow Fiend 4 and 1. Now General he's one of these players that we've seen kind of like G, crush lanes, absolutely demolish people. He's an incredibly skilled player, but kind of like you know, Miracle from SEA.
Yeah.
He's kind of like that, very emotional it seems from the way he plays, and can definitely tilt if things don't go his way.
Yeah, he's very much a pub player when it comes to both the upsides and downsides, right? In that, or pub star, really. In that he has high mechanical abilities, but when things don't go his way, he tilts. And we may see that happen to him here because the laning phase matchup is already being a bit unkind to him. Of course, this will change as he gets level 5, but I'm sure there's going to be some roaming potential. As soon as Templar Assassin hits level 6, and you have the Spirit Breaker with some decent levels, and then you're going to have Relocate as well, they can't afford to let this static laning phase draw out for very long on the side of SFZ, just because there's going to be so much mobility from Monkey Business to upset the way that the regular laning phase is going to go.
Yeah, and once again, they've put themselves in this great position where they don't miss out on anything. You know, last game we saw Nature's Prophet plus the Slardar, where once Nature's Prophet was being mobile and looking to make up the numbers in other situations and other lanes, there was the Slardar to leech experience, get something out of the lane while...
Ooh, they're actually going to get Miracle here. The bounce back cast, that was a little weird, but Miracle should be going down here to the race. Very nicely played by SFZ. State showed himself early on, but it's the roaming potential of Axmo that actually allows them to be able to get the kill. So him being shut out of that top lane results in a glimmer of kindness for the SF.
And top lane, Tiny, he's, he managed to get level 2 up at top, moves to mid, gets to level 3. He's actually looking not too bad for the top lane Tiny. But yeah, once the Spirit Breaker moves from the bottom lane, Fly will then get his experience kicking in, push him up, and maybe get into the Arcane Boots. But Monkey Business this time around, a lot of their sustain comes from itemization. You know, Fly probably goes into the Arcane's mech, and then the Wisp. What do you reckon? Because there's no bottle rush for the, or there was no bottle rush for the Wisp. He's now got his bottle incoming, but Wisp builds kind of differ from player to player rather than situation to situation. Oh god, Venge! Bash.
Oh, immediate bash comes out. The stun is going to be here in time. And Zombie actually gets the kill. Unbelievable. Now the cat's going to bounce around. They're going to go for Moon Meander, but he gets the heal out from the Soul Rip, and the Tombstone survives long enough to slow these heroes down, but doesn't last long enough to actually give him the kill for it.
Level 1 Tombstone takes 3 attacks to destroy, and it stood up for full duration.
I mean, that was just simple Vengeful Spirit and the supports being out of position. Whether it's, you know, the supports not communicating how far away they are, or the support's not coming to him when he needs to go to the side shop. Either way, that was just bad communication, and someone was definitely at fault there, perhaps both, when it comes to positioning.
Dive up at top. Venge has come up here, but no tail. Stuns out. Wisp, Tether as well.
He's going to turn things around. Doesn't have a stun for another 5 seconds, and Slaughter, who actually TP'd in, didn't have a stun either. I'm not sure how changing this laning phase is actually going to be beneficial to them, because now they have a Tiny up against 2 heroes, Undying and Spirit Breaker, who can very easily go on him here. They're going to have the Tombstone out, slowing him down. If they get a bash, I think they almost guaranteed get the kill. But it doesn't look like the bash came out, and they're going to be forced back. But just a little bit of extra time underneath that Tombstone. You know, throw 1, maybe 2 more zombies. You get it some extra damage, especially against a hero who has no armor. The physical damage of the Spirit Breaker and even the right clicks.
Stun comes out. It should be a
2
kill.
2-second stun. Rhines is definitely dead.
A minus armor from the Chaos Strike. Now, No Tail has got himself Gloves of Haste before going for the Ogre Belt. And did he finish off Treads? No. Interesting. Boots into gloves, into helm.
So, going for that fast armlet?
Yeah, Treads armlet, I'm guessing.
Interesting. See, Bounty Rune for General. I don't know. I mean, the one time that we saw Monkey Business dominate the laning phase was the time that we saw that last big Venomancer. You know, and that was a very clear, like, oh, surprise, this is what's happening in your laning phase, you're kind of screwed. This game, I feel it was very obvious, like, from the get-go, what was going to be happening. The Templar Assassin didn't change too many things for me. SFZ going to be charged here in the middle lane. They do have the cast. If they get really lucky, they might be able to get the kill on Moon Meander, and sure enough, they got really lucky. A cast bounces back to him, and they easily have enough damage.
Bunch of creeps around, but who freaking cares? Poor little Spirit Breaker. Now, TA doesn't have any big stacks, so Miracle is just going to make some of his own over in the large camp. Ancients, actually, they're trying. Fly's trying to stack up the Ancients, but warded up by the Radiant. They know what's coming. Can't give that TA the free reign of farm, which, you know, she really desires. And the top tier one's already gone down. No Tail still has that Phantasm available, and where is Wisp? Wisp is closing in on level 6. So very soon we could actually see that first relocate gank towards the Shadow. I think Shadow Fiend is the big target here.
Oh yeah, everyone
2-0-0,
else.
50 last hits. You need to kill him.
Everyone else is just completely shut out. Christian, our
Rave party.
our tech guy, he came in, so he's gonna check out the left ear problem.
7.5 minute armor pretty much there, honestly.
How do you address the Chaos Knight when he has this much strength? Like, not only strength but armor too. Like, you've got a lot of physical damage. You're pretty reliant on the damage from the SF. This nuke is going to be physical damage. They're going to go on to General, 1 second stun. A bit unfortunate is now they're going to be comboed down here. Crit's going to be the target, SFZ. They managed to get off the ultimate, and that'll kill the Wisp. And General does go down, but it's going to cost No-Tail his life as he's unable to get off the armlet toggle. Now the turnaround, though, they go into the Tombstone, charge right on through, actually hits 3 beautifully. Trying to stop Rise, though. Miracle is going to be stunned up. It looks like the traps are going to be enough to slow him down and get that kill on the Vengeful Spirit. And they'll strike to finish him off. The 3 heroes of SFZ turn around and go for Moonmeander. Will be able to chain stun him, but he's got a charge. He's just too tanky. The Cats goes out. The toss charge. Yeah, he gets away.
Tower.
Goes through the tower, and
it's gonna fly. It's gonna hit him. It's gonna kill him.
He's got a one. He's got a one.
Oh, he's got
one.
Oh, 4-6.
What? Oh, he's getting. Oh, Moonmeander outruns the tower shots until he can pop the wand, and oh my God, he found a
regeneration rune.
Unbelievable.
How fortunate.
I don't know what to say. SFZ have just lost so much control of this game early. Their biggest hope is on this SF.
That could have been a lot worse as well. The fact
True.
that Monkey Business ran the Chaos Knight Wisp in alone, again, like ScaryFaces did well to group up 4 heroes there initially to safeguard the rune for the Shadow Fiend and stop him being crushed.
Yeah.
And then they killed the Wisp, moved on to the Chaos Knight, you couldn't armlet toggle, and then Monkey Business kind of trickled in. If you look at how it could have been, if TA was there initially, that's just ScaryFace is all dead. It's a team wipe, honestly. Everyone dies, they take tier 1 mid, and then it completely snowballs in Monkey Business' favor. But now No-Tail and Crit, they have to go back to farming. They've got relocate available now, so they could, yeah, they're grouping up. They're looking for state 21.
Oh, but if they stay 2 group, they're going to be caught out by this cast. They actually go for the Tombstone play. They have the relocate. They do not get the lucky cast. It doesn't bounce anywhere. No, the toss, they're going to be able to get a zombie kill into the 1. But still, it's SFZ. It's a zombie apocalypse here. They're just going to be run down constantly. Shadow Wave's going to be able to get out, but it's 1-1. On SFZ, 1 support and 1 core that goes down in exchange for the Spirit Breaker. A very nice fight for Monkey Business, especially whenever you have these relocate plays. You always just go right back to farming on your core.
Yeah, great play. They extract the Chaos Knight, push him back up to top lane, and like you said, back to farming. Now, Miracle has a Midas Templar Assassin. And I guess because he doesn't have any stacks in the jungle, he knows that a fair amount of his farm is going to be taken out by the aggression from ScaryFaces, who will, you know, there's that switch for ScaryFaces where, okay, we've kind of lost our lanes. You know what we have to do? We have to go and fight and fight and fight, and they'll group up as 5. They'll get the Shadow Fiend into his Sand or his BKB maybe, and they'll just go and try and literally just try and man mode it. Take tier 1s, try and get some form of advantage.
Smoke up. Witch Doctor and Vengeful Spirit gonna go on the hunt here. They don't have the ultimate for the Witch Doctor, but they do have Swap in order to perhaps get 1 hero out of position and just chain stun him down. Oh, they kind of chain their stuns, but it's fine. The overlap doesn't mean much when you've got that much power.
Look at how many heroes are mid-cap.
Yeah, all 5 of them. And a 4-man smoke from SFZ. Okay, just keep this snowball rolling, I guess. General, meanwhile, is going to be farming up the jungle. They're going to go up to the top lane to see if they can catch No-Tail, but they're going to have to take down the Wisp first. TP out, mass rotations. They knew it was coming.
What does Moon have? Is he making... Oh, I guess it's Medallion with the chainmail, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be Blade Mail Spirit Breaker.
No, I doubt it. Medallion would be just that extra bit of power to allow them to take. General almost let that out. That was so close. How many were there?
4 instantly,
Oh,
just
wow.
bam. Guys, get mid now.
Jesus.
But this means that there will not be TPs, right? Who has it on cooldown? Pretty much everyone except Tiny, right? So they have to physically move towards middle lane to safeguard General, so Monkey Business could potentially just run towards him now. They'll lose their tier 1 at top, but that's a fine trade if they can kill the Shadow Fiend.
At this rate, Monkey Business could actually defend their tier 1 if they really wanted to. And that's the power of Wisp +1. You've got so much extra rotational power that you're able to defend towers a lot easier when you don't have to rely on so many TPs. But tier 1, for tier 1, looks like they're going to go for the middle lane as well. And there's not really much that Monkey Business... Nothing's going to stop them. SFZ, I mean, it's 7-7 right now. It may look alright, but Monkey Business have been growing this big lead, and they have only really just hit their stride. We've got a Midas on Miracle, so keep track of that. That's going to be stacking up a lot of extra net worth for them.
Level 3 Tombstone, tanky-ass heroes in the Spirit Breaker Chaos Knight, Refraction, Wisp Save.
Yeah, they have heroes that simply are not going to die in a lot of these scenarios. Charge in. Spirit Breaker, the target here. Crit's ready to go, though. They get a 4-second stun. Oh, this is perfect on Shadow 8. They're going to be able to kill him. No, Swap goes out. He managed to get off the stun before he dies. The toss up in the air. Spirit Breaker now healed up by Crit. They're not going to be able to get that kill either unless the Casket's really lucky. 2-second stun, but it's not going to be enough. No tail actually missed it out. General managed to finish him off. Another toss up in the air. Miracle pops a Refraction and takes out that MSF. And that's all. A 4-for-1 exchange, not terribly surprising there, as SFZ run headlong into Monkey Business.
Poor No Tail. He keeps, like, fraction of a second missing out on the armlet top twice now in a row. But, again, Tombstone lasts for, like, the duration of the entire fight. They walk into that, it looked okay. You know, Monkey Business, they've got high ground, sure, but... The stuns that they can actually throw out here, ScaryFaces could have been a little bit more wary about what they were running into. The 4-second stun from Chaos Knight definitely made life hard. But Tiny
Fly doesn't have much HP, but he may still go in with the Tombstone. Never mind. I'll back out. Looks like they knew from this ward right here. As soon as they saw that. That should be fairly obvious to Monkey Business, so the ward is there.
9,000 net worth on the TA.
Okay, Fly, that's a free pickoff. Counter warding like that without the backup of his team. Rather simple rotational error.
They want in on this.
Nah, it doesn't seem like it's really worth it. If SFZ are willingly gonna 5-man inside their own jungle, you know, they could just let them. They're just farming really inefficiently at this point. They're gonna play that scared. In the meantime, Miracle has this big old stack to clear through, and this could be his. This will be his Desolator, if he wants it. Once they have the Desolator, that's going to mean a very fast Roshan if they also finish up the Medallion, which. So
this is the thing.
He hasn't yet
saved up a lot of money for this.
Yeah, maybe he is going Blade Mail.
It could work. Blade Mail before Avalanche Toss.
Yeah, I mean, when you charge in like this, you make yourself a target, so it's really not bad. I just figured the Medallion would be nice, especially since they're dire side, but they don't really need it if they have the Desolator. Desolator, give it to him. Give it to me.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They gotta deal with this mid lane push, though. They don't want to give up this tier 1 tower for free.
No, trapped slow. But hey, Cap, how many heroes are there mid lane?
5 once again, SFZ.
Oh my goodness. They're just getting out-farmed on the side lane
game.
Like, No Tail's farming his jungle.
Unless they get a pick off. Oh, the damage is quite enough. He gets off another Refraction. And now he's good. Now here comes the turnaround. The charge is going to come out. General actually pops his BKB in time in order to stop that one. Now it's going to let loose the ultimate. Is enough to kill Moon Meander with a raid? That looks like it is. Now they turn around. Miracle is right in the middle of all this. He's going to be dunked out as the toss is able to finish him off. They get the Tombstone finally with a 2-man stun. Now Chaos Knight pops his ultimate, though, and General is left completely exposed without his BKB. 2 swings of the axe as No Tail and his army goes to work, takes out the SF. And, well, it's getting a bit better for SF. SFZ over time. Durka, this time around, it was a 4 for 2.
They got the TA and the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah.
And he picks up a broadsword, so it is going to be with the blade mail. But this time around, No Tail, you know, he gets in there with the kills. He doesn't die this time. And with 2,000 gold, do you go S and Y, or do you look towards the BKB? Because there are tons of stuns, and honestly, it's annoying to deal with.
I think probably the PKB. Well, no, actually, when you have a Wisp, I think the S and Y. I mean, you've already shown how like, yeah, you're going to be able to stun up Chaos Knight, but there's still another damage dealer on the field you have to deal with, and the Templar Assassin. So if the disables you're throwing at the Chaos Knight don't stop the damage, and they're not going to kill Chaos Knight simply because he's going to be so big, relocate in, they're going to try and go for this pick off of the Witch Doctor, and they will have him. State gets the cask off. The stun will still come out, though. 2-second stun. That'll be enough time. Actually, hold the phone. They're going to go for more here. No Tail's left behind by the Wisp, because they're going to be able to track down this Vengeful Spirit.
The one-roll Venge is just not working.
No.
200 net worth behind the Wisp.
I mean, if you're not convincingly winning fights by 15 minutes, I think you pretty much lost the game if you're playing one-roll Venge.
Yeah. More than just that, like, one of the biggest reasons people pick the Venge is to take the tier 1 relatively early as well. You know, it's not a conventional hard-pushing hero with heals or sustain or anything like that. But it's just to shove the wave. With Vengeance Aura, you give your supports, your range supports, you know, the Witch Doctor just to run into the tier 1 and force it down, Wave of Terror to force people back. But Monkey Business, they had that aggressive dual lane just to stop that. So Vengeful Spirit didn't get the early boost of gold from the tier 1 to really shove her towards some kind of snowball factor. The Tiny maybe makes up for this though. Axmo is 402 with Shadow Blade and Blink. Maybe we can see him getting in there with the initiations. Because a lot of this game does rely on the Tiny. You know, Shadow Fiend, sure enough, BKB, Requiem and Razors, magic damage galore. But Tiny has to start progressing towards his bigger items as well. Although, last time, I think, I'm pretty sure it was ScaryFaceZZZ. Last time, or maybe it was, no, that was during MSI Dragon Battle, never mind. We saw a Tiny in a dual offlane go into Blink, Force, Shadow Blade, and then very, very late go into the Aghanim Scepter, and the transition just wasn't fast enough. Definitely something you have to watch out for with the Tiny is at what point you go away from utility and teamfight, and actually think about late game. Maybe late game will never come.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I don't think it will. Monkey Business just steamrolled over that Vengeful Spirit. They smoked up for it, but they got a core. They're going to be able to take a tier 2, and SFZ, I mean, I suppose it's early enough in the game that the Vengeful Spirit isn't dead for that long, being only level 8. So I guess they can't push down the tier 2 tower just because it could be another 5 versus 5, but Monkey Business, they find another pickoff like that, and they could actually go uphill really early. This ward, they see SFZ. General spamming out his ultimate a little bit, I think out of boredom. Looks like Axmo's going to run into a number of heroes. The counter ward not quite catching him. And Ryan's, well, he's dead again? Yeah, charged, he's pushed back, 3 seconds done.
No Tail even BKBs for that.
So they'll have to commit to the tier 2 tower if they pop that BKB. I think he expected a lot more out of that.
Well, yeah, with the way ScaryFaceZZZ has been playing with the Save Your Buddy syndrome, where they see someone dying and they run in to try and stop it from happening, I would expect the same.
Oh, he's trying to force out the BKB, but look at that! Oh my god, he just tore apart that Tiny. Now he's going to be healed up as well. Crit's keeping him alive, as well as the Undying gets off a good heal. State's going to be targeted in the background by Miracle. He just goes in, 3 shots. That one. Miracle's going to be torn apart, but he does have the Aegis. No-Tail jumps in. Actually pulls Shadow A to the wrong side of that one. Has to walk himself away the long way out. General managed to take out the Templar Assassin second time around, and so too does the Spear Breaker fall. They pull the Rhines over the cliff, though. No-Tail has to balance himself back out, though. General landed a raise. Shadow A's going to come in, but they're probably just going to turn around on him, pop the armlet, and go for the kill. No-Tail. Oh my god, that's just the wrong time for you to try that one. Once again, No-Tail having some issues with his positioning and his armlet toggling.
Starts off with a lucky bash from Mr. Moonmeander, but Shadow is still chasing this one down.
The slow is definitely enough. You don't chase this one out anymore.
That was all general though. That was
Oh,
general
yeah.
show. Perfectly timed Requiem on top of the Aegis. A couple of raises out, well placed as well. But Monkey Business, you know, you they've got to commit for the tier 2, but without your BKB up for the Chaos Knight, it leaves you so susceptible just to being nuked down.
Mm-hmm.
Popped his Phantasm pretty late, Miracle diving in behind tier 3s. Now, we've seen this before from Monkey Business, you know, they feel very secure in the game and the way it's going. They know they have a good experience in gold lead, and they know more importantly that they have key items on key heroes. Because often we look at the sort of difference between teams, but if you look at the difference between, let's say, the Undying and the Slaughter. There's no blink on Slaughter. He's got no utility. There's nothing on the Witch Doctor that gives them anything. It's very heavily inflated by the Shadow Fiend up with 12,300. That's what's keeping them in the game, is the BKB Sanjanyasha Shadow Fiend. Whereas the Tiny with, you know, Shadowblade Blink Dagger, sure, gives them good initiation, and maybe they'll catch someone with this smoke. But where is the question? Because it's not going to be near the Roche Pit, maybe near this tier 1 tower in middle lane. But they're going to get scouted already.
Stage shows himself. Maybe he can be delicious bait, though. They managed to get Fly. The stun goes out. They're also controlling Miracle, but the charge comes right on through. Hits 2. They managed to get the relocate back. Fly's going to be able to survive through that one. Shadow 8 gets a decent stun, but it's not going to be good enough as No Tail just runs right on through with his BKB. The Wisp got blown up, but it's going to be everyone else sacrificed to No Tail as he just cleans them up.
They get General as well. Trap? Oh, well, no.
Not quite getting it there. General.
He has no TP. They know he didn't go west. They know he went south. Yeah, they're going to catch him easily.
Yep. So General dead as well. That's going to be a full wipe in SFZ. This is certainly not the game for them.
That's what happens when you don't dive tier 3s and tier 4 towers. Monkey Business. They've seemingly got this game in the bag.
Now just perhaps wait on the next Aegis before they push uphill. I'm sure they'll take down the rest of these tier 2 towers, though. They certainly have enough strength to do so.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Scary Faces, they just need to blink on the Slardar so badly. It's imperative for him to have that initiation tool. You can't rely entirely on the Tiny to do it. Because if the Tiny's the one jumping in, he's going to, sure, get the Avalanche Toss set up for a Cask or a Death Ward or something, but his life is forfeit. And, Maximo.
Yeah, that's going to be swapped there. They're going to try and fight around it, but he managed to get off his ultimate. No Tail's going to be able to turn and fight, and it looks like that damage just doesn't do anything. State, he gets off a good amount of damage from his ultimate, but No Tail's just so damn big, it doesn't matter. So they easily stay alive there. And it looks like an extra one's going to be run down. Axmo blinks himself out, but still run down by Moon Meander, who has an ultimate ready to go. And, ooh,
Never ever.
Triple kill.
Never ever.
All right, time to push uphill. No need to wait for the Aegis when SFZ gets caught in a nasty fight like that one. General gets brought back into the charge. Good game, well played. General will call it for his team, as he was the only possible hope for SFZ to be able to come back into this game. Everyone else just not looking up to snuff.
From laning stage till that first Roshan, sure enough, a couple of dives from Monkey Business, but full control of the game. The Slaughter had no room to farm to get into, you know, in the support role we saw how well Monkey Business played it, but that wasn't in this full 4-role support spot that Shadowway found himself in. He was running from lane to lane trying to stop the aggression coming into his teammates.